That's true.
Yeah.
We're live. All right, we're gonna play our theme song here. So this we play this and then it's just like awkward for a minute. So we'll awkwardly sit here while this plays.
Yeah, this is where the part of the show that me and Byrne look longingly into each other's eyes and make the guests feel uncomfortable
Yeah,
while this song plays.
That's cool. Pretty chill.
it's a J6 banger. Makes a lot of good tunes.
Oh yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yo.
Yeah.
What's up, Dad?
There he is.
All right, we've got a quorum.
What's
Yeah. Thanks
you
for
guys doing?
joining.
Yeah, of course.
So
I like how we've all
today-
got the wrecked merch on. Apart from
Had
maybe you.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this will be a completely unbiased review for sure.
Oh gosh.
Don't worry, AQ. I'm lying. It's gonna be very biased.
Ovi just decided to quit.
He disappeared.
Stop by for a second.
Yep. All right. So that was OSF, everybody.
If you all were coming to listen to OSF, you can leave because he's gone.
Yeah, AQ's better anyway. Don't tell Dad I said that.
All right. Well,
Mom's the
let's get
best.
started.
Moms are the best.
For everybody who doesn't know AlienQueen, why don't you give us a little bit of your background, how you became an artist, how you got into Web3, and then how you eventually ended up creating, projects with OSF.
So pretty much, I've always been an artist my whole life. Heard about Web3 because, well, my friends told me about it back in like 2018, but I just got busy with life shit. So then in March 2020, I read an article about Grimes selling on Nifty Gateway, and I really like Grimes a lot. So I just was like, oh, that's cool. And I went to school for computer animation and stuff. So I was like, okay, let's try doing this. So I just got an ETH and started minting shit, and I'm here now. But yeah, and then with Ovi, working with him, it's because I entered the Degens competition. My collector Kenshiro told me about it and stuff, and I was like, okay, he's like, try it out. So I tried it out, and I just pulled an all-nighter pretty much, and then I was like, fuck it. The next morning I just submitted it and it just went viral. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know, that would happen. But yeah. And then that was the beginning of my relationship with Ovi and Mando.
Awesome.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Ovi, can you give a quick background and then maybe how you selected AlienQueen to help, work on the projects?
Yeah. Background. So I got into crypto really late. I first bought Bitcoin in January 2021, and I was just crypto skeptic for ages. And then finally in 2021, I kind of got myself to buying Bitcoin, got myself to buying ETH. And then Mando, my friend Mando, I think he's going to join us in a bit, but he was like, hey, you got to check out this NFT thing. And I was like, dude, I just got my head around crypto. I just can't spend this much money on just buying JPEGs. But I saw he bought a piece for 18 grand, flipped it for 250 grand. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm in. I may not believe in it, but I can come in and try and trade stuff. So I just got involved that way and just started doing all the DJ stuff like everyone does in the space. And then I used to make a lot of art when I was a lot younger as a teenager, and when I re-entered the space, I was like, oh wow, this feels like the online digital art community that I used to hang around in when I was 13 or 14 or 15, except now you can actually sell things, and there's a medium for the art and mechanisms to actually transact. And so I just had to go at creating things. Didn't really expect it to take off or anything. But I kind of just did it for fun and had managed to get some success with it and stuff. So before that, we had, we made DJs, Mando and I made DJs, and we just had no idea what we were doing, and we thought it would be cool to make it interactive. So we made this art competition, which is take one of these, pieces and make them your own. AlienQueen's one was the best one by far. It was weirdly iconic at the time. It was this crazy moon boy with like mushrooms sprouting out of his head and like everything. I think AQ that was like one of the first times you did that style of art before, because the
Yes.
stuff that you had was like, you know,
It was
more
cultural. Like,
cultural,
it was like when I came into the space, I did like more of my like 3D work, and then I did my Cambodian drawings, still really colorful, you know, like kind of psychedelic, cultural, like Southeast Asian work. But then I'm really grateful for Degens because it really made me like become who I am. Like it just was like, okay, I can just really be free and really be myself, you know?
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
Mando, welcome.
Hi, Mando.
How we doing?
Good, good.
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Well, this is a
Sorry, I
good
missed the start.
This is a good time for you to jump in, because one of the questions I was going to have, how did you, OSF and Mando, how did you have the conviction so early on to like go through the trials and tribulations with degens and regens and just be like, we're not going to just, you know, quit the space and leave. Like, we're going to sit here and try to figure this out and stay for the community. Like, what did those like discussions behind the scenes look like?
It was tough at the start, right? Because I think, if I'm honest, it was just slightly frustrating because we felt as though that was what other projects were doing, and we thought we'd go down that route. Let me change my mic. Hold on, it might be the wrong mic.
Technical difficulties.
Is that okay now?
I can
Now?
good.
Yeah. And I remember saying to Ovi maybe in like August or September, because at that stage we were still going down like the comic book route and like the IP route, and just being like, this isn't gonna work. Like, there's just no way this is gonna work. And it was frustrating because we just knew it wasn't gonna work. So we were like, right, we'll just continue to do the art projects. So the art competitions, which seemed to be going well as like a community thing. And then we were like, right, we'll see how this goes for another couple of months, and if it doesn't, then we're gonna have to like completely change it. But it wasn't really a case of not continuing on. It just didn't even feel like that wasn't really an option. Firstly, because of how Ovi is built as a person, just like never lets anything die attitude. So it was always like, right, how can we fix this? How can we fix this? How can we fix this? And secondly, like, we actually kind of wanted to have a project. Like, we felt like it was a good thing to have something in the space. Like, it kept us engaged on a daily basis, and like it just was really frustrating because we just knew it was never going to hit. Whatever we put out there, you know, it wasn't going to affect the floor price. So then I think only in December did we're like, we'll turn this into an education thing. We actually bought out the other founders, I think in January, was it? January or February?
It was a little later.
Yeah. And then that's when we were like, right, this is ours now. Let's just see where we can take it. But there was just no other option.
Yeah, no, you can definitely see that you and Ovi.
Wait, hold on. We're echoing, and I'm gonna blame Mando right away.
Oh, really?
You might be double
God.
mic. Wait. Okay. That fixed it.
Yeah. I think he's a double mic at the time. But you obviously, Ovi and Mando, you make a great team, and one that's dedicated to be in the space ongoing. What was the decision like? Where did the art come from, and then what was the decision like to be like, okay, we're going to launch, rektguy, and kind of what were the parameters that you were looking at in the space at the time to say, okay, maybe this will be different?
I never we didn't really plan it much. You know what I mean? Like, I think because I had this character in the piece of art that I was drawing, I was like, it would be cool this makes sense to be like a PFP thing. And I just kind of fancied doing it myself. Like, I wanted to like have a go like writing the code and stuff. And it was kind of like a passion project. Like, I just sort of doing it on the side. And then, I mentioned it to Mando. Mando's like, well, dude, we have this whole degens thing. Like, you can't just do like another PFP thing. I was like, yeah, you're right. We just can't do that. So then we're like, well, why don't we just make it free? Like, let's just make it a free drop for all the degens, because it's not like, I was like, I'm not trying to do this to like make money out of it. I just kind of wanted to do it because I thought it would be fun. And it was one of those things, like when we launched it, well, when we first started doing it, I thought it would be like, hey, here's a free drop for the degens, and it will probably like, maybe over the first day or two, it will trade at like 0.05, and eventually it'll go to 0 and no one will care. And it will just be this thing. Like, that's genuinely what I thought it would be. And by the time we launched it, you could see there was this hype and anticipation around it. And, you know, we knew it felt to be much bigger, and we got AQ on board as well to do the one-of-ones, and just like, it turned into something bigger. But it was just like, we didn't really plan for that, you know, like things happened and you had the market crash as well. So it fit that narrative and people kind of resonated with it at that point in time. But it was just like, it was just so unplanned, and you know, it was organic. Like, I know it sounds weird for someone to say this was organic, but it was organic. Like, we didn't really try and fix things and plan things, and I think that's one of the reasons why it worked. It was just like, hey, here's this free mint to our existing community, and I don't know, I have no idea what this thing is. The roadmap is lol, and we're just like, here's this rektguy thing. And it kind of works.
I have 2 additional questions, and then I'm going to be quiet and let Byrne ask what he has. But AlienQueen, can you walk us through kind of like how you approached the art for the one-of-ones? Because they're some of the most incredible, you know, PFPs in the space, and they are really unique with your styling.
Well, I really love rektguy. Like, I loved Ovi's character, so I just, you know, they gave me the freedom to do whatever, and I'm a degen, so I was like, okay, well, let me just trip them out. Like, I like tripping, and it's just stuff that I see, and like, it's just like elements like the one with the mushroom, you know, like I love psychedelics. And then the red light district one is like, you know, inspired definitely from Ovi's red light district. I don't know, just I'm like very impulsive and spontaneous. I'd never plan anything out. So like I'll just look at a blank screen and then I just will just draw whatever comes at the moment. I'll go through millions of sketches, right? And then I'll just like work on something and then I just delete it and then I just keep doing it until I'm like really happy. So originally I was gonna do 5 one-of-ones, but then we had some time, so I was like, fuck it, let me just try to do 5 more. And that was awesome because that's when I did the red light district one. Like I was looking at Ovi's stuff, Ovi's artwork, and getting inspired by that. And I think that's like one of my favorite ones in the collection.
I would have loved
my
to
one-ones.
see some of the behind the scenes. I like when you share like clips of you drawing every day on Twitter. I would have loved to if there were clips of that. Mando, my next question is, I heard you were the mastermind behind like trait quantities and stuff like that. It's why my alien mask is the best trait in the entire collection. But can you walk us through kind of how you thought about designing trait quantities and rarities within the project?
To be honest, that was both of us, but it was a long process. It was a very, very long process. To be honest, it was just an iterative thing. It just started, and Ovi like occasionally would just like do 1,000 of them, and then we would like every couple of weeks, every week or two, we would just go through and be like, right, on that trait, and then we just started adding different traits like masks and just random other stuff. I forget, like I have to look back at the text about all the different things, but we had loads more as well, which we kind of didn't even do in the end. And then I think we were just trying to learn from all the mistakes we'd made from degens, if I'm honest. Like one of the main mistakes we made from degens is there were too many flaws. There were too many humans on the floor, which nobody wanted. And so we were like, right, we need to really do the research on trying to get the rarity quantities right. So we just spent a long time doing that, and we like looked at punks. We looked at the time Doodles had like really done well this rarity distribution. So we like looked at punks, we looked at Doodles. I think we looked at we didn't look at Bored Apes or like Cool Cats because they had it wrong. But like we looked at other projects where it was really well done like that. And we just felt as though those sub communities is really like what actually survives often the best. So we wanted to make sure there was enough, that it wasn't just like one person. There was normally enough that you could have like a small group. But yeah, that was an iterative process, and then we just got lucky how well it came out in the end.
I don't know if it's luck.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Well, I mean, these are random, right? So you just don't know. But like, I felt like that was a good batch we got at the end.
Yeah, they came out clean. I remember on reveal. Oh, sorry, we're echoing again.
Oh crap.
Maybe.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, but I remember on reveal, just like the variety, a lot of people were surprised. Like we knew there were a lot of really clean, good-looking traits, but the variety and, in my opinion, the quality of the traits really impressed. Like that's why we see a lot of the mid-range sales going, above floor by quite a bit. It could be 50% above floor for a mid-tier trait. And I think that distribution played a major role in the success and in the quality of the project overall. So I think it was well done. I don't think it was luck. I think you guys really took your time and researched other projects and found the right mix, and then OV executed on the art, which a lot of us love. So I think it was just well done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We're going to do rektguy 2 where we upgrade the art. We're considering rektguy 3 where we then downgrade it again, and rektguy 4
Thank you.
we
I
put
think
funny
it
hats.
sounds great.
That'll
So
be
what you could do is just have me add traits and just like make them all super shitty.
Yeah, Burns managing rektguy 2.
Yeah, and if you've seen my art, it won't disappoint.
the quickest way to actually get us to go to 0. It's what everybody wants. Ovi has said that Alien Mask is the best trait, but then he went back on it in a live interview and said that Golden Girls is the best trait, which I can forget. I can forgive him for that. What I can't forgive is this Diamond Dolly stance that you are the hill that you
You're the only one.
Mando. I can't take it. I can't.
Yeah, that was a strange one. I remember in the week after, because we didn't want to buy them straight off the break. We didn't want to do like how other founders did, like sniping a rare. But I remember somebody listed a dolly at 1E, and I was like, well, that's a really good trait. And I agree that like I think aesthetically, on pure aesthetics, the metallic collection is maybe better. But there's just something about the dollies, man. There's just something about them. Understated. Very few of them. You don't hear from them at all. They're just chilling at life. They've won. They won at life. Don't need to be ostentatious in any way.
They just kind of exist, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of I just vibed with that straight away. And I know the dollies out there listening to me right now. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. I hear you loud and clear.
AQ, what's the best? What? And you can't say Alien Mask because you have alien in your name. What's the best trait?
I like the Joker faces a lot, and I think they're very rare. Are they rare?
They're rare,
I
yeah.
mean,
Very
they're
cool.
one of my favorites.
Few of them or
There's
something,
a
yeah.
rec guy named the Joker, and I'll see him comment on my stuff, and I was like, damn, I love that face. Like, it's awesome. That's like my favorite.
Yeah, there's a lot of traits out there that we don't talk about as much. I obviously show the victory hoodie like crazy because it's what I have, and it's the best trait. And that's how 2160 is with the Alien Mask. He just likes it because he has it. It's not that good. I can agree on Golden Girls for sure. Diamond Dollies, Mando. I mean, they're out there. They exist. I would take one if it was free. I remember looking at them after you got one, and I was like, I kind of liked them. But it was your PFP, so I was like, I can't have the same PFP as Mando.
Yeah.
So I went,
I mean, I think Victory Hoodies, again, I feel like it's in the same dolly camp that if you're in the crew, you think it's the best. But
The crew of one person, which is bad. That's it. And the other person there's another one, right?
there's another one.
I have no idea.
the
who
ghost.
The ghost.
Oh, the Ghost Stones one.
Of course.
He paid 6.9 ETH for it. So
The only reason I have a vendetta is because I acquired 2 Full Metal jackets, and then Mando shows up and is like, no, that's not the best set. And it's Full Metal Dolly.
The dollies asked me. The dollies asked me too.
Anybody.
Have you got a dolly yet?
I do not.
Never. Patrick's so anti-dolly.
Yeah, I can't buy one, man. I can't do it.
Full Metal Dolly is still number one on the rektguy leaderboard. Or what is actually at the moment? There's something else, isn't there?
Tattoo shop.
Yeah, tattoo shop was big.
Tattoo because there's no tattoos. Tattoo. What I'm saying. Sorry, the 1 ETH paper bags listed for sale. Right. I'm just having a look now. Yeah, I can. Maybe I can share my screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question for you guys while you pull that up for Mando and Ovi. So you guys don't have to work at all, yet you're two of the hardest working people in the space. Like you've got your GM show, and you're still constantly like working your ass off on degens and everything else. Why?
It's a very good question. My wife asks me this all the time. No, I think it's really dull to not do anything. I think, and actually, like you shows you that we like doing it. Like we are of this nature. It so fits in. Like if degens was the old degens, I think it'd be very tough because I wouldn't be able to contribute. Whereas with the current things that we do, I contribute. It fits my skill set. OSF with the rektguy fits his skill set. Then we come together for like various different things. But we enjoy doing this stuff every day. It does, it helps not like over. I mean, when crypto dumps like it dumps, maybe I do need to keep working. But I think we just enjoy doing it. And like we just come from a background as well of working very, 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 very hard. So when we came into this space, it just felt very normal to keep working at that like pace. Plus, I just like whip Ovi and Cali every single day.
Well, we don't need all those details, Mando. You guys keep that in the bedroom.
He also makes us work hard as well. What I would say is I think the fact that we don't have to do it means we just try and do only the things that we enjoy. And I think, especially rektguy compared to everything else, I think just enjoy it really. Like I spend all my time in the Discord, like in the dive bar, and just chat to people like it's a group chat, just make art because I enjoy making it, do the events because we enjoy it, like do this stuff because we just enjoy it really. So I think that's why it allows us to be sustainable, because it doesn't feel taxing, it just feels natural, it feels like it's just what I would do anyway. And if along the way we can make it big, then hey, that's like a win-win, but we don't feel the pressure to be like, we're not like, oh my god, we need to make like this much revenue so we can like pay all these costs and then like do this and this and this. Like that's not how we roll. We're just kind of like, hey, this is a cool idea, let's do this. Well, let's do this. And along the way, I think we'll have some good success with it. And we have different ideas, but it's not like we don't need to like create this hype train and go out there and be on the timeline every day and like be aggressive and stuff like that. I believe it's not required to be successful. And I think what we want to create here is something that is sustainable, long-standing, even with or without us. And that's not me saying we're going to leave it, because we're always going to be here working on this. But this whole thing can like stand on its own 2 feet now without like needing a head of marketing and like like accountant and all this kind of stuff, and cost bases and dev and etc. So it was never intentionally the plan, but it's turned out to be the plan, and I think it's something that works for us. And I think it just means when we have a bear market like we do now, people aren't upset with us, or people still enjoy being part of the community. It does mean that when you have big bull markets, sometimes you sit there and you're thinking, should we be hyping this more? Should we be more aggressive about doing X, Y, and Z? And sometimes maybe the answer is yes, but sometimes I think you can do that, but you will take this big short-term gain and you'll create a lot of long-term pain for yourself. And everyone's like, why don't you launch a rekt token? And Mando and I've talked about it. Sometimes Mando's like, oh, should we just do a rekt token? Sometimes should we just do it? Yeah. But I think if we did it, we would have an impetus to provide utility to a token with potential legal implications. And it would be great for like a few days and everyone would make a ton of money. And then we just have this thing, which would be a dent in our reputation, I think, a big dent. And it would be a tough thing to create. But I don't know, like, who knows? If we think of a good idea, then why not?
Yeah, put it on record that I would sell my rec token within probably 3 days, and just pocket all that money. For sure. I like it.
You guys have some experience there, right?
But
No comment. No comment.
No comment.
What I will say is that Ovi, one of the things, and Mando, one of the things that I find so impressive is being built, like the community aspect of it is what's keeping it going kind of in this bear market, and it's very strong. And the mods came from kind of the degens when you're working with degens, and then you got the community to kind of do your marketing for you with running a competition every day. Like, you've put stuff in place that seems very sustainable, and so you're not seeing this retraction that we're getting from all of the other projects where they were spending a lot of money to hire a bunch of people and then not being able to sustain that through the revenue, especially when royalties went to zero and basically you stop making anything off of the project. You know, what did that look like in the face of like seeing how everybody else was setting things up? Like, was sustainability long term like your guys' main focus after you figured out that that rektguy was going to be something that you were going to dedicate time to for long term development?
Yeah, 100%. We like every single time we thought about doing something, we're like, is this sustainable? Will this last? Like, everything we've tried to do for the projects, we always think, right, is there a way the community could do it alongside us and then maybe even take it over or independently? Or is there a way, instead of us hiring someone, could someone in the community do it? And then they can, like, even on, like, we were like, oh, we need to get someone for socials, like for memes and stuff like that. We saw like other projects doing that maybe 6-9 months ago. We were like, well, we could hire someone, or we could just get our community to do it because this is way more fun. And that's just been like a prime example of just something that just worked so easy for us. And there's other examples like that where we've really tried to think, yeah, if we are gone tomorrow, how could this still be sustainable? And we even think about that with the other stuff that we do. So like with the radio show, like how can that help support the floor, like keep it sustainable? All of this stuff is so that this project can last, even without trading fees, and maybe even without us.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Mando and Ovi are retiring. So just kidding. Yeah, I like the setup, and I think the fact that that you don't promise anything and there's nothing expected at all is just a major value proposition. Like you said, Ovi, like not having to hype things up like we've seen other projects do and just constantly come out with something new, like, because you know how the space is. It's what's next. There's no patience at all. People just they always expect something, and I think the fact that we don't expect anything here is very valuable. AQ. So what drives you? What drives your art? What gets you going in this space?
Just creating the community. I just love the community, the space, the people I've met. My TABZ Discord is it's pretty funny and fun.
Dirty. It's dirtier than the dive bar, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, guys. It's pretty dirty, but it's fun. I don't know, just like vibing with everyone, and I think that's what drives me, you know, just like every morning, like GMing and just talking to people and just like doing what I love, right? I think that is the main thing. And I'm always an artist. I'll always be creating. So bear market, bull market, whatever, I really don't care. Just vibing.
Yeah,
I love it.
If I were to point like one of the things out that also I think makes these communities stand out is your guys's willingness to be like a participant within your guys within the communities, like on a regular basis, like you know, to have access to the artists and the founders of the projects, even in a bear when people are going MIA, I think gives a lot of confidence to, you know, the community itself, and you know, adds to the nature of it being so jovial. And the people that have decided to stay around in both Discords have really become friends, and they just like to degen and hang out with each other all day long. And yeah, I can attest that AlienQueen, your Discord gets wild sometimes for sure.
I know that's pretty funny, right? Like,
I
and
feel like I have to
chill.
like
I
take a
don't get
shower.
offended by anything at all. So I mean, I even drew a bouquet of like dicks for them. Like,
Yes, you did. Yes, you
posted
did.
it and they colored it and whatever. Like,
Yeah, that's actually
yeah.
a 2160 screensaver on his phone.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Okay,
is.
Dick,
Yeah.
thank you. Actually, no, I own one of AlienQueen's tabs. That is the DJ with the headphones and the alien.
Yes.
She had shared one before the drop, and it didn't actually end up getting minted. And that was the one that I was going to trade for. So I traded for what I thought was the next best aesthetically pleasing one. But I love the tabs. Can you walk us through kind of that whole process of creating that drop, and like what got you motivated to create all of these really cool psychedelic kind of old school that I would equate to pogs growing up, because
Yeah.
that's what they
So
remind me of.
like Mando and Ovi and I, we were talking about this, and I think, was it Mando? We like talked about like making it circular, like Matt Fury's like pegs and something really cool. And we came up with like the whole like milk caps, like pogs idea. Like I grew up in the 90s, so I used to play that, and then we called it tabs because psychedelics and everything. So I mean, and then I just again, like Ovi and Mando just let me be free. And that's what I love. Like, we're like, okay, let's like come up with some characters, like 5 characters or whatever. And these were the characters we vibe with. And yeah, I just created them. Like, I mean, I love the trippy. I mean, Ovi, thank you for the trippy colors, because that's like my favorite. Is like this trippy
Yeah, they're
alien.
cool, right?
Yeah. Like, it just was really fun project, and it took like a really long time because I'm very like OCD and stuff, and then there's just like a lot of like detail and everything, but it was so worth it. I'm just so happy with it too.
Yeah, they came out great. For sure. What is each of your favorite trait in this collection?
For the cats, I like the nightmare mouth. I think that one's rare. It's like the ones with like the crazy teeth. I like trippy colors. I liked the fishbone for the cat as well. For the frogs, I like the little crown for it. And like the trippy eyes. I don't know. I love it all.
Yeah,
I mean,
as an artist that poured many hours into it, it's very hard to pick like your favorite.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ovi hates that we just talk about traits all day long, like he didn't draw every single one of them.
I love it.
I love the background, the black background ones. I think they pop so well. Like every single detail is just really, shows up really well against the black background. So those are the ones that I like kind of the best.
I think the colors really pop out with the black background. I do love the UFO background as well. Like, I love that.
I used to own that frog, that blue mushroom frog with the black background. I sold it.
Paper hands.
I know.
No, I think
I always like that OSF one of one. I forget what was the name of that one of one, the frog one. It was something weird like deaf on drugs or something like that.
That's the one, I think, right?
That's the one.
Yeah.
That was,
I love the alien one.
I'm pretty sure it's called Deaf on Drugs, that trait.
That's an awesome one.
Deaf on drugs. That's awesome.
I love always 1-1 alien. So
yeah. Jesuit has this one. That might be the Grail.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's really
that's his PFP, right?
That's
it.
it.
Is.
Yep.
My favorite trait, I think, is my favorite character is the skull. I think the skulls are really sick. I think my favorite trait is like the black skulls. Like, by the way, that one's really sick, the one with the bolt backgrounds and the gold skull. But
Yeah,
I think
that's
I love that one.
Yeah, the black skulls are, I think, very rare. I think there's
Black
only
skulls are quite rare. Yeah,
Yeah.
skulls are. Is the skull the rarest character? I can't remember. Or maybe the frog
Yeah.
is.
No, skull.
Skull's rarest, right? Yeah. I think the black skulls are really sick. I think.
Oh, really sick.
Yeah, so there's
The one
two
that
traits I
Kenshiro had
chased.
was really sick. The black skull with the green flames.
Yeah, that one's so good.
Yeah. That's a cool.
Yeah, these are cool.
This one, right? No.
Oh, that one's so
that
good.
one. You see the one with that one.
Yeah,
It's
Four
really
ETH.
sick. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, the great thing about this collection is you could just scroll all day long and just find like really cool, like different combinations that you hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
I really think that's awesome. And then I recently for your community started buying back, some of the floor, which I think is pretty exciting. I know it's something that OSF and Mando do for rec guys as well, and it's nice to see founders and artists that just believe in the projects that they've created and want to continue to invest in the community in that way. I know that you guys get a lot of positive feedback for taking that step. I also know that Ovi has said in the past that it's a hedge against no royalties. So maybe in the future they can you can use those wallets to continue to make money for the project if it's needed.
Yeah, we're gonna dump them. We're gonna dump them all eventually.
Come on, Machi it.
Mando goes out in a blaze of glory by dumping. How many is in your wallet right now? Like 300, 400 records?
Yeah, we just got to get Matchy bidding.
That's hilarious.
I do want to say my favorite moment in Web3 ever was when you guys dumped on Machi. It was beautiful.
OSF doesn't like talking about that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get chopped up into pieces in Taiwan.
You do have to be careful traveling.
Yeah, just don't travel to Asia at all. Keep yourself safe.
That was a crazy 24 hours. I remember it's not really sleeping that much. Getting on a plane, I threw up when I arrived in France, and I was like, then just slept for 2 days afterwards. Definitely psychologically scarring at the moment, in a good way. But it was,
I bet transferring that amount of money from wallet to wallet, or even converting it to USDC or whatever, would be absolutely stressful. I'd be shitting myself. That little bit of time it takes for it to move. Or did you guys do it in batches or one big clump?
So you can't do it. It took us about an hour to transfer it all to one wallet, which is funny because if anyone was just, I think we did it in this day and age because people are so fixated on movements and stuff, they would have seen it happen before it happened. But I think no one was really switched on then. So I was like, wow, no one has realized that we just put all our apes into one wallet again because I was staking some, Mando was staking some, we were staking some on Bendao, we had some in our multisig, but that took us about an hour. And then the way that it worked in Blur is there was a bid for 25 apes and there was a bid for 30 apes and there's a bid for 15 or whatever. So it doesn't let you trigger the whole thing in one go. You had to do each individual one. So there was a moment where I was like, shit, I had to sell this one, hope he doesn't delist, sell this one. But I think when when we sold them, it was 3 a.m. in Taiwan or whatever. So he was probably sleeping. Maybe he would have taken his beds out. I don't know. But it wasn't even, to be honest with you, it wasn't even just Matchy. That there were other bids in addition to him as well that were out there, I think. So if it wasn't him, we would have sold them 1 ether to someone else. So
well executed. Yeah, that
We
would
didn't
be
know it was
insanely stressful.
we didn't know it was Matchy until
we didn't know it was him.
We knew it was one person, but we didn't know it was Matchy until afterwards. And then it came out that he suddenly had them. It definitely wasn't intentional. I kind of feel like he has money to burn.
I don't really know. Like,
He's showing
He's
this
certainly
point.
showing that.
he's done this a lot.
Yeah, no, I get it. It was a market play. It was genius. The liquidity was there. It was smart, and I think it woke a lot of people up to realize and do the same thing. So, yeah, it was well done. It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember we lost some of the apes at one stage.
We
Say
had,
that.
yeah, we had a. I didn't say there were like 15 apes missing, and I was like, "Mando, did you send these apes to this address?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, they're not in this address." There's like 50. I was like, "Where?" I said, "We're like, where the fuck?" I think we both had that moment where your heart just like sank. It was like, did they go to the wrong? Like, what happened? And then
Spin apes were something, you know.
yeah, it turned out they're all in the hidden folder on OpenSea for some reason. Like when you like unstate them from Bendao, they go straight to your hidden folder. So I think I had like 5 from me and like 15 from Mando or something. So we're like, where have all these apes
Yeah,
gone?
when they were all worth $500,000 a piece, you're
Yeah,
like,
it's like what the fuck?
where
just
did
happened?
$7 million go?
It's scary when you are doing that stuff and it's that much money because you're just there with like your ledger just putting through random transactions and shit. It's scary. It's definitely scary.
Yeah, I get nervous like when I take out a few thousand waiting for it to get to Coinbase. So I can only imagine when the stakes are that high. All right. AQ, what else are you working on? What's new? What's going on? What do you got cooking?
Well, I am working on some crazy shit for Transient Labs right now, and it's still a really long work in progress. But I want to tell the details, but I'll tell you guys in private. But it's like really ambitious for me. And then after that, Rect London. I'll be in London, so I can't wait. I'm excited. And then I'm working on some immersive thing for in Dubai for Art Space and Gallery. I talked to Ovi about that, so I'm doing collaboration with them. And I think I have some more stuff, but I can't remember.
Staying
Just
busy.
like always, yeah, just busy.
That
Having
Dubai
fun.
thing will be insane. Like I'm just imagining your art like in an immersive experience. Like
Yeah,
eat a cap and a stem and go on in.
It was cool to see your art in Lisbon, kind of in that room being that big and immersive. So I imagine it'll be something like that.
yeah. So it's like Ovi's the 360 room that
Yeah.
Ovi had in Art and Space. So they can do like they were talking to me about like sound and scent and smoke machines or whatever. So
That's awesome.
I'll see what I come up with.
I
I
think-
want to kind of give the viewer, like the person going in to experience a trip. I mean, my trips are really intense compared to some people's trips because I take really strong doses. So I want to get it as close to my trip. It's fun though. So
That's going to be crazy.
yeah.
I think I have to take a page out of Burns' book this year. I think I'll be missing Rec London and Miami as
Oh,
well, unfortunately. But yeah, I hate to say that out loud, but I think that's going to be reality. One of the questions I had, since we have both OSF and Mando here, is kind of like, what's your guys's like short-term and long-term outlook on the space right now, given kind of everything that you're seeing in crypto and in NFTs?
Yeah, look, NFTs is a little bit tough because as we just described, most business models aren't going to work for a lot of the people that have already. I mean, OpenSea just came out yesterday and said royalties won't be enforced. Blur's basically found a backdoor, so they're not. So all of the projects that you've seen over the last 2 years, unless they have kind of the not like a flexible team like us who does do other things and aren't trying to like milk a community for like money, which is I would say a lot of the projects out there. Like I would still say, I know the majority of the top 30 or 40 profile picture projects have got that business model. It's I don't see how that changes. Like the only The only thing that you can do is try and find outside revenue sources and then kind of link that back to the culture and maybe even the marketing of the original NFT project. But that kind of runs parallel, and that's kind of how we've thought about rektguy for a long time. Like we just want to have it as its own thing, and then we can think of other ways to maybe branch out the rekt brand. So I still think there's a lot of pain to come in that space. I don't see how even like a Yuga works in this world. Like they have a massive war chest, but like the business model itself just doesn't seem to work for me. Maybe Yuga's like can sell some IP in different ways, but I don't think that's the case for a lot of other. That they were basically relying on selling them to the NFT market. So I think it's a very difficult one. Do I think NFT technology? I think it's going to be. It's just like revolutionary technology. Like it's just so obviously revolutionary technology. I just think that the Web3 business models relied on trading fees. So I think that makes them a lot more difficult. I think in that environment, it kind of what you've seen even with rektguy now, like it helps us. Like we're seen as a stable play that isn't trying to like oversell. And I think you're seeing those projects. They won't go maybe necessarily up in this environment. They'll probably just like stay flat while everything else goes lower. The bearish overtake of all projects. But I think I still think that there's some pain to have there still. Probably another 18 months, I reckon. But then I think we'll come out the other side very strong. And I think there is some utility that does work for these, which will work very well. Things like gaming, things like I still think club membership, particularly linked to IRL stuff, will work very well. It's something that we've even considered at rektguy. I think the whole community aspect of stuff actually is very strong in NFTs. Like it's way better than shitcoins, in my opinion, or any other form of crypto. I think like there's a real community aspect to it, which crypto didn't really have before. And I think there's value there. So I think that as its own thing, if you can package it up, I think it can stay. And look, I don't know. It's a tough day to ask about the rest of crypto because it's been a sell-off of which I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around why, if I'm honest, because I don't really think that there's that many bearish things out there for crypto right now. But I do think that we are probably heading to next year being the main comeback story, I think, for crypto. This year now feels like it could just be a bit of a chop for the next few months, even with positive headlines. So I think next year is hopefully where a lot of those stories come back. The ETF with the halvening, with various upgrades to ETH happening, and I think some slightly better macro situation, I think, as well, probably helps.
Yeah, I definitely agree. As the stewards of like the rektguy brand, which you guys obviously you don't care about foreplay, so you're not saying that the roadmap is literally laugh out loud. But how do you guys look at or evaluate what you might do with the brand, kind of moving forward? I know that one of the things that Ovi has teased is like the seltzer that you guys are working on. What else do you think down the road you might be interested or seeing the rekt brand kind of thrive in? Ovi, you're on mute.
I think rekt as a word, logo, or slogan, whatever it is like extremely brandable. Like, you know, I'm wearing this hat and kind of I'm biased, but I think it kind of looks cool. Like it's kind of cool to have rekt on like a t-shirt or hoodie or whatever. I think the drinks idea is a really cool idea as well because like the rekt guy's drinking a drink, but I think there's a gap in the market for seltzers that actually look cool in your hand to drink at events or parties, whatever it is. If somebody doesn't drink alcohol, like the non-alcoholic beverages sector is a huge sector that's rising. But I think like we're in this position where, you know, if I started from scratch, I was like, let me go out there and make a drink, let me go out there and make clothing. It's really hard to do because there's so many things out there. But what Web3 allows you to do is like build a brand really quickly and build a community really quickly. And then from that, you can pivot to like doing just in real life stuff, but you already have a foundation to do it. So like when we have when we do like the Rect drinks, for example, we can just start stocking it at different NFT events or crypto events or our own events, and we're able to do that because we have like this existing brand in the space. And I think all those things are really powerful. Like someone asked a question the other day, and they were like, "How does this benefit rektguy?" And I said, my response was, "I don't know. It's just a drink, lol." And that's literally what it is. Like, we're not trying to be like, "Oh, buy this drink and scan this QR code and enter this number, and then it will connect with your rektguy." Because like that makes no fucking sense, right? Like, we're not just gonna do things in a Web3 way where it makes zero sense. But I think, for example, if Rekt drinks ends up being a huge thing and every single can has a rektguy on it, people are like, well, wow, that became really big. Like, what was the original inspiration for it? It was rektguys. Like that kind of has a bit more of like a, like a cultural kind of value, right? So in my head, it's like, well, if we can make Rekt as a brand pretty big in whichever path we go, and I don't think it has to stop at drinks. I think clothing can be a big thing, but we need to like figure out the right way to do it. But the RLD merch and stuff I think came out really, really good, and people like that a lot. So I think we can just have this different stuff where like this is just kind of like this lifestyle brand kind of thing where you can, there are drinks, you can like have clothing. We have events. We do consistent events throughout the year as well. The brand just grows and it builds, and we've been doing it and growing it through a difficult market. So I have to think, I do believe if we do more of the same and keep growing these things in a strong market, it will be a much more powerful brand, it'll be a bigger brand. And I think inadvertently that does stream value to rektguy without us having to specifically, mechanically link it or promise anything or say, we're not out there saying, I'm not out there saying rektguys are going to, you want to go out buy rektguys so we're going to turn this thing into a whole brand. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're making a drinks brand. But I think if we are successful at those things, you have to think that people start to understand a bit more about where this whole journey started and what the meaning behind rektguys are, and this is the whole thing that started this whole movement, and that's the way I see it. And I think that's a much easier way to create a business in this space without having to be like, oh, we need to rely on royalties, we need to rely on selling you NFTs, and we need to rely on monetizing our community. And the answer is we don't. Like, there's other pockets of money out there. We can try and monetize things that way and create businesses that way without having to really touch or affect this existing rektguy collection. And that's the thing that I think is going to be really powerful. And we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'm wrong and it just doesn't work out, but I don't know. I have a good feeling about it. I think I have a good feeling about it.
Yeah, I agree. What you said with the value accruing back towards the PFP, or it could happen, right? Because if you believe in the thesis of like a PFP as a luxury item, or the value of having a digital identity, I agree. I think having that cool brand out there, and then if you have the original, I guess what drove the creation of that brand, I think there's value in that as well.
Yeah, I think we want to be careful though. We don't want to make it feel as though if the drink doesn't do well, it's also bad for rektguy. Like, we want it to be Rekt. Rekt is, and we're going to try and do this. If it works, then it becomes an alternative revenue stream for the Rekt business, which we then can use again to support the floor, that sort of stuff. But if it doesn't work, it's not the worst thing. It's not like our thing is tied to a drink or anything, right? We're just going to try a few different things, and if it brand hits, that's great, and then that gives us another alternative revenue stream. But we're not. I've seen, like, I don't know, you saw recently Pons did that like coffee NFT when utility thing. Like, we're not trying to do anything like that because we think that's just like that has a lot more operational risk, and rektguy just is perfect as it is right now. So we don't want to muck it up.
I love it. I just want some of the seltzer. I want to try it. I'm going to mix it with alcohol though, for sure.
Yeah, they wouldn't give us. They wouldn't allow us to use alcohol with Rekt.
Rekt, the brand Rekt doesn't encourage responsible drinking, so you can't do alcohol.
You can add like a car crashing on the can or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
21, you're on mute.
I was gonna say System Loco doesn't like, or Four Loco. Four Loco doesn't like promote responsible drinking either.
True.
They have an alcohol license. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I can't wait to taste it. I'm not a huge seltzer fan, so I'm hoping that this changes my mind. And if you put enough alcohol in it, I'm sure it'll taste good anyways. All right, so this is the part of the show where we usually rate projects. I don't know how me and Bern could ever rate any
We're rating.
you're doing because we're completely 1000% biased. So I'll let Bern go first because he's going to give you some ridiculous score like 1,000 or something like that. So let's see what he's come up with.
It won't be ridiculous. All right, so we'll do tabs first. I think the art is amazing. AQ, you're one of my favorite artists. The variety and trades, having the different characters just adds to that variety. They're super dope. You haven't promised anything, which I think is a major value driver. So you get a 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think one of the great things about your art style that you found along this journey is it's just so recognizable. Like I can walk into a room or be scrolling through Twitter or anything like that, and immediately no other artist in the space could have created that piece. It has to be an AlienQueen piece, and that you've taken that and kind of put it into the PFP project which is amazing. So I love everything that TABZ stands for. I love the culture that's being created inside your Discord, and I always love hanging out with you at live events. So I give it a 10 out of 10 as well.
Thank you.
All right, next up, rektguy. 10 out of 10. It's the dopest PFP there is. TABZ is right there too, but rektguy. I mean, the whole meme behind it, the community, everything, the fact that you're not promising anything. In fact, you're like anti-promise, I guess, if that makes any sense at all. Like, you're saying don't expect anything from this, which I think is it's brilliant. It's 10 out of 10. It's perfect.
I would have preferred 6.9 out of 10 actually.
Right. I'm gonna give 0 out of 10 because you promised this project to go to 0, and as long as I've been a part of it, it's never reached that. So I think that you guys did promise something, which was for all of us to get wrecked, and have not delivered.
It came close at one stage, right? In the post Snoop Dogg era, there were some moments.
I bought the
we were like, have we done this again?
Actually, I made quite a bit of money off of the Snoop Dogg pump, so I'm not mad at that. I just didn't buy, I sold into it. But my bags are obviously heavily rektguy. I kind of leaned all the way in. It's my identity on Twitter, so obviously I think it's an amazing project, and I think you guys are incredible founders and human beings in the space, and the effort that you guys show on a daily basis to be here and continue working, I think is one of the reasons why you've amassed a great community around you that is down bad but never dead and wants to sit in the Discord and joke around all day long. So stuff like I don't know, what was it, a 2,500 Bitcoin fall didn't impact anybody. We all just laughed at each other. So kudos to everything you guys have been building and working on, and we definitely appreciate being wrecked in this space.
Yeah, same here. Thank you guys. I mean, the fact that you're still grinding every day, even though you don't have to. You'll never leave your community behind. Thanks for the dope art, Ovi, AlienQueen. Love it. I'm gonna rate Degens too. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. We'll give it a 10 when we have a bull market and it just absolutely explodes. But I think there's value there as well for sure. That's why I just keep holding them and stacking them. Thank you guys.
Rain Man over here makes the puzzles too hard, and none of us can solve them. So yeah,
I don't even try. Thanks, Mando.
I don't even try.
I don't think anyone tries. I've made them too difficult.
They are
It's
tough.
just like the living carpets, and I like tabs. You're just like always in my DMs. Just
Couple go-getters. They want to just stack those prizes, have multiple dinners. I just
We've
assume
actually
that,
banned them, I
that the
think,
team
from
gets to
everyone.
go to the dinner, so I'm not even trying. So
who said that?
Bern hasn't showed up to a live event since he's entered this space, so you have no threat of him actually showing up.
I'm probably going to Miami. Otherwise, Loxley and Farouk will fire me. So,
you're coming to Miami in December?
I think so. I'm probably bringing the whole family as well. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we're going for sure. So, yeah, it'll be good to finally actually meet everybody and hang out for real.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to that. It'll be awesome.
It'll be good. You guys can see me fully blacked out. No, I'm just gonna get to that point. But
I have a lot of mushrooms.
It sounds like
I don't make mushroom chocolates for you guys.
Yeah, just don't even tell us. Just like, here's some chocolate. Surprise. All right, I'm gonna close out the show though. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for coming on. I know you're all super busy.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Coming on our little show and letting us give you a bunch of 10 out of 10s. We don't have to listen to this whole awkward song.
I like the beat.
It's a good beat. J6 did a good job.